Hello and welcome to today's episode of Piano TV. I am Allysia, your host, and today I wanted to sit down and talk to you guys about the 30 Days of Piano course. So for those of you who are in the loop, who have been following these videos, in September, we did something that we've never done before. We did a course where for every single day in September, for 30 minutes, I did a live video lesson and had like sheet music and PDFs and homework assignments and all that stuff. And a whole bunch of you joined and it was really, really fun. It was actually like some of the most fun I've ever had teaching. We had live calls. So for those of you who were in the correct time zone, you were able to attend and like chat, and it was a really fun time. So that was the 30 Days of Piano, and that was in September. Now that September's come and gone, I've been thinking about what comes next, and I will do another video after today's video with the next thing, if you're curious about what that is, if you want to get in on some of the live video stuff. However, since we recorded every single lesson, and we did this because some people weren't in favorable time zones, some people couldn't attend live for whatever reason, and some people just wanted a slower pace. Actually, most of you, when I was talking to you guys afterwards and the people who participated emailed me and stuff, they found the pace to be really, really intense. So I had a lot of comments from people saying that like they were looking forward to going through the lessons at a more leisurely pace instead of like every single day. So there's a lot of material we packed it into 30 days. But since we recorded everything, I thought that it would be nice to make it available for other people after the fact, because not everyone was able to participate live in September for one reason or another. So I wanted to make the 30 Days of Piano available to anyone who wanted to, join the group and participate. Now, we still, even though you can't participate live anymore because it's done, we still have an active Facebook group and community that you can join if you sign up for the course. And it's a great group, really supportive people. It's really fun to see people posting videos of themselves playing the music we've been practicing. People post pictures about their museum trips and stuff like that. There's a lot of really great stuff that happens over on the Facebook group. So even though you wouldn't be able to participate live anymore since the event's over, you can still get that sense of camaraderie from being a part of the community, which is really, really cool. So we've been working on polishing things up a little bit with the course to make it available to you guys for purchase. And that includes, we've re-recorded a few things. The audio recording quality in the live calls wasn't great. We couldn't really work around that. We are going to try to tweak that for the next one. But what I ended up doing is I recorded all of the pieces we were working on. I believe there was 9 different pieces that we were working on. We were busy. I told you it was a really intense 30 days. There was a lot going on. But I re-recorded them so there's better audio to listen to the different pieces that you're learning. We're finishing up a homework bundle, so not only do you have printouts for the sheet music you're learning, all the sheet music is included. Not only do you have printouts for like each day's lesson plan and stuff like that, you're also going to have a homework printout. Now, when the live people were participating in September, I just told them to grab some loose leaf and write stuff down, and that sort of works, but I thought it would be nice to have like a more directed homework writing experience, which is why we wanted to put together that as like an extra bundle. And there's also some free gifts and stuff too. I will link the page that you can find all of this information on if you're interested in joining after the fact. I'll leave the link below. It is, I believe, www.pianotv.net/join30dop. 30 Days of Piano. And that'll give you like the full rundown of everything that I'm talking about now. So for those of you who missed it or who maybe missed my earlier video when we originally launched the 30 Days of Piano, I will explain it. So as I already mentioned, we did one live video session every single day in September. So there's 30 lessons. Now, they're a little bit longer than 30 minutes. For the most part, I tend to be a little more on the verbose side. Most of the lessons are closer to 40 minutes. And if you think, even if every lesson is 30 minutes, it ended up that would work out to about 15 hours of instruction, which is crazy. Actually, if you think about I've done about 350 videos, more than that now. But in terms of total time, that's probably like a quarter or so of like the actual total video content that I've done on this channel. It's a lot of content. And then you go with the fact that they're more than 30 minutes, most of them. There is a ton of content. I really do think that the stuff that I give you guys in the 30 days of piano is enough to keep you busy for several months, depending on how hard you work. The technical exercises could keep you busy for a year. We did a technique exercise every day. So the format of each session was basically, we would start off with some exercises. There was a different exercise every day. And then we would get into the bulk of the lesson, whether that be working on a piece, working on a left-hand pattern, doing theory stuff. And then we would finish the lesson with a Q&A session. And that was kind of like the general format. But since we were doing a different technical exercise every day, some of the days got pretty intense. Some of the exercises you could just kind of like jump in on, day 12 and figure it out. But some of them built on each other. So I told people several times throughout the 30 days of piano that I didn't expect them to master I didn't expect you guys to master like all of the triads on one day. It was just to give you like a diverse palette of different exercises that you could then continue working on for like an entire year. So lots and lots of content there, and that's how the 30 days of piano worked. Now, as a course now, after the fact, since it's not live, you can still go through it. The videos are available to stream at your leisure. They're going to be available forever. You can download the videos even. You can download the audio files. You can download the live chat that went around with each video. So if you want to feel like you're connected to the live experience, you can kind of see what was going on in the chat logs when the videos were being aired, which I think is really cool. So after the fact, all of the content is there. The only thing that's not there is the live element. And we had 160 people join, so only about a quarter to a third of the people who participated actually caught the live episodes. So we average somewhere between 30 to 50 people per I'm used to calling them episodes, but I guess you'd call them lessons. So a lot of people who signed up for the 30 days of piano didn't even participate live. So I feel like you're not losing too much without being able to join live after the fact. All the content is still there. And now you have the benefit of having wise people who have already gone through the course who can help you out on the Facebook group if you're stuck with something. And of course, I'm floating on the Facebook group sometimes too. I'm not there all the time, but I do like to pop in and see, people's video recordings and see what's going on the group. So yeah, everything is basically the same. We're keeping the price the same as well. So it's $97. Again, think about that. If you broke that down into price per day, because that's 30 days, right? $97 for 30 days. It's less than a cup of coffee for each lesson. And each lesson would be 30 to 4 minutes. I tried to pack them. I really tried to cut off the fluff. We have some introductions and stuff like that, but for the most part, I tried to crank in, as people have emailed in me and will attest, it was a lot. It was a lot of content. So we didn't skip on content. And I really think that I feel like you'll find that to be valuable. There was a lot of great feedback from the course as well, and I want to share some of that with you. It's going to be weird kind of reading some of these comments out loud to you as opposed to reading them, but I'm going to do that anyway. It's just going to be a little awkward for me, but we'll get through it. Just to share what other people have been saying about the course, because it's one thing for me to talk about it, but it's another thing for you to hear some words that other people have said who have actually participated and gone through it. Now, I just want to explain this quickly. The reason that the 30 Days of Piano is getting re-released now, and why I didn't just kind of have it available up until now, is some of you might have gone to the website and probably noticed that it's kind of in a transitional state. We're updating everything, changing the layout, making the code more modern and clean so things load faster, look better, etc. And we really needed to do this before the re-release of the 30 Days of Piano, just to make sure that there weren't going to be any technical hiccups, which we did have some technical hiccups. It was a learning experience for me when at the end of August, when we opened up the cart for people to start joining the 30 days of piano. We definitely had some issues with the credit card payments and things like that with some of the people. It was only some people who had issues. Some people it was totally fine, but all those issues have been solved. We fixed it with a new modern layout. Our old layout was referencing like versions of Internet Explorer that doesn't even exist anymore. So I'm glad that we got rid of that archaic layout. Even though it was kind of cute, it was very, very old. So things are gonna run a lot smoother this time. I should also mention the level of this course. This course I geared towards late beginners. So people who are beginners-ish, people who have been playing for maybe like a year or two, who know the basics. And I did create a starter's guide. So if you're not sure, and this is for free, if you're not sure where you're at, and you're not sure if the course is going to be appropriate for your level, if you go through the starter's guide, it has it's like the least you need to know in order to understand and participate in the course. And the level of music that we go through, it's pretty diverse. We do things that are as simple as can, which is one of the earlier pieces we did. It's actually, I think, the very first one we did. But they get as complicated as Bach's Prelude in C major. So there's a really, really big range there. And if you find that maybe you're more on the beginner side of things, maybe some of the more difficult arrangements and stuff you won't be able to get to yet, but that's okay. I still think that you can glean a lot from it. And one thing we do in this course is we really dig into a couple pieces. So the pieces that we really dig into is Scarborough Fair and The Rose. And what we did with these is worked on different ways that you can arrange the left hand, switch it up, make it into like an interesting arrangement. We played around with probably close to like a dozen different left hand variations and stuff like that in various levels of difficulty. So you can kind of customize it to your level. Maybe you're able to do some of the like easier variations in The Rose, but some of the harder variations in The Rose you have to wait a year or two, and that's okay. I wanted to try to make this open to as diverse of a group of people as possible. So there really is stuff for relative beginners all the way up through late intermediate students. Although I would say if you're kind of in that like grade 6, 7 up, this might be a little bit too easy for you. But again, that being said, one piece of feedback that I got a lot is that the theory that we covered, because it's a fairly theory heavy course, filled in a lot of gaps for people in their understanding of music and just kind of helped gel things that they already kind of knew. And that was one of my goals with this course. Now I'm going to go find some of the testimonials and I'll read a couple things for you guys before we wrap this video up. It's going to get long. And again, like I said, all this stuff is going to be posted. Check out the link below if this is something that you're interested in joining and participating in. I also want to show you, I did a survey after the course was over. And you can see that overall, how would you rate the course? That the overwhelming majority thought it was awesome and exceeded expectations. So really, really good feedback there. How organized was the course? People generally found it to be pretty organized, which again, I'm a fairly organized person, so I tried to make it really like as organized as I could. And this is a really important metric. Do you feel like you are a better piano player after these 30 days of piano? And you can see that the vast majority of people are really feeling like they're improving. And that's something that as a piano teacher, I really, really like to see that metric. Did you find the material easy to understand and follow? You can see again, it's most people found it easy to follow. Even though some of the topics were very complex. And I did get a lot of feedback, especially on chords. So that's something we might have to get into in the future is a whole other thing on chords, because that was new to people. And I didn't know that was going to be such a big learning curve for people. And that was something that I learned. How difficult did you find the pieces in the course to be? You can see that most people found it to just kind of be in that sweet spot, but leaning a little bit more on the difficult side. So if you're relatively new at piano, you might find that this is, according to the feedback that other people have given, it might be a little bit on the more difficult side than less. So yeah, I thought that was something that you might want to see, because again, it's not just me saying things about this course, it's other people. And I think there was about like 100 people, over half of the people who did the course did the survey. So that's a pretty good amount of results. So I'll read you a little something that Pat sent, and I'm not going to read, some of you guys had really, really detailed feedback, and I'm not going to like read the entire thing, but I will read some cliff notes here. It was the best course in the world. Thanks, Pat. You provided structure to learn the piano that made you think. Using your method of attacking a piece from many angles, a person would eventually develop their own style. That's cool. I never thought about it like that. And the theory that you provided gave us the whys of what we're doing, and the awareness of how much we need to learn. You kept the group upbeat, positive, and civil. So even though I had to work harder than most, he was talking about being like a pretty new beginner. I didn't feel too much like an idiot. That's good. You're not an idiot. My one complaint, and I will read you some of these complaints too, is that sometimes you move too quickly and the resources couldn't be seen, or your fingers moved too quickly for me to understand what you were demonstrating. So there was a lot of times where if I was playing a scale or something, you guys said that I was doing it a little bit too fast. And again, that's something that I want you to know, that's good to know going into it. We've compensated for the camera, like reading what's on the screen. I think you should be able to see them pretty well on the recordings as opposed to the live. But anyway, thanks for sharing your knowledge. I've started all over from the beginning. I'm so glad I took notes and can rewatch videos. The extra material you gave us is a treasure trove. I can't thank you enough. Thank you, Pat. Frank says, just 3 days post 30 DOP and I can notice the difference. That's awesome. I've incorporated most of your technical material into my notebook of exercises. I cycle through a subset of them for each practice session. That's a good idea. I find I've really benefited from your analysis techniques, which have vastly improved my recognition. Cool. Thanks, Frank. Pi, or P, I'm very sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, says, thanks for putting together a truly wonderful course. I was sadly one of those adult beginners who started with fairly unrealistic goals, got frustrated with the lack of progress, and then stopped practicing altogether because the daily commitment was overwhelming. And I did have, you're not alone, I had quite a few emails like that. It was really hard keeping up every single day, which is why I'm glad we're re-releasing this so that you can, you don't have to feel stressed out that you have to like be there every day. You can take it, you can do one a week if you wanted, and then you have a course that lasts you for pretty much an entire year. I took a few lessons with a piano teacher, but there wasn't any structure and I couldn't really see where we were headed. I really enjoyed how organized and structured your lessons were. It gave me a new perspective on what piano lessons are about, provided a better approach to practice sessions, and has inspired me to take up piano once more. Fingers crossed this time it'll last. I have faith in you, and thank you for your comment. This is from Gina. I joined your online piano course and wanted to tell you how much I enjoyed it. I've never done anything like this before, so didn't know what to expect. I'd never done anything like this before, and I didn't know what to expect either. What I've enjoyed about the 30 days is that for me, it's been a review of theory that I already knew. And she's talked about not being like an absolute beginner here. This is more of an intermediate student. But it has also highlighted concepts that I didn't think about. I never really thought about using lead sheets and their value in forcing you to find the harmony to accompany the piece. We did spend quite a lot of time on chords and stuff. For me, writing the harmony will be a slow process, but with practice, it'll become easier. Etc. Thank you for providing this course. I know that I'll be referring to the videos again in the future. I hope that you plan on expanding or perhaps offering additional courses in the future. We're going to get to that next week. Stay tuned. Even though I studied with a teacher, I've learned so much and it's been a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Thanks, Gina. So this is from Richard, who came in as a total beginner. Like page 27 of the Alfred Allen book, if that gives you guys any reference. He said, I had no problems with the theory. You introduced so much material. It was brilliant, logical, and came across neatly with your conversational style. Guess I'm one of those analytical learners. Everything flowed and I could easily see what you're explaining and how it all fit together, even down to doing homework. I was comfortable writing things up and analyzing. Practically, well, yeah, struggle town. So this might be something for if you're like pretty new to the piano, your fingers aren't used to doing all this. I did attempt to play and found that I could do the right hand melody, at least so as to be recognizable, but I did struggle with the left hand chords. Something that'll come with practice, I'm sure. As for two hands together, not happening at my level, that'll come. I loved your selection of music for the course. There was a richness in the left-hand work for the Rose and Scarborough Fair with all of the variations. I've always been a read and follow the recipe to the letter when cooking type person, and working the same way with music. So it was a revelation to watch the interpretation of the music that you provided, and with a stunning explanation of what you were doing and why. That's so kind, Richard. You've really awakened a totally new way to look at and approach music for me. Light bulb moments were popping off for me all the way through. Having noticed that, when I see or hear music now, I'm actively listening for those little patterns. And I've heard that from a few people now, that they've started to, now that they're listening to, they listen to music a little bit differently now and can pick out some of the left-hand patterns that we were talking about. So that's cool. That's really great to hear. The 30 Days of Piano has been such a wonderful experience for me. Thanks for the time and effort you made for this. Really shows in the final presentation. I've come away from this totally inspired and raring to go. Thank you. So I just wanted to share those, and if you visit the URL below in the description, you can find some of these testimonials and see for yourself. And yeah, maybe you'll join us. It's been a lot of fun. Come hang out with us on the Facebook group and go through the 30 Days of Piano at your own pace. And for those of you who are looking for more or want to join something on the live side of things, stay tuned for the next video. I'm excited to talk about that. All right, guys, catch you in the next one. Man, it is gnarly outside. I'm gonna just pause here.